Hello and welcome to AWS Made Easy. This is the show we talk about AWS, FinOps, AI. My name's Stephen Barr.
Hi everyone, I'm Rahul Subramaniam. How have you been, Stephen?
Really well. I was at the AI Tinkerers meetup in downtown Seattle two nights ago. That was really fun.
Nice.
Really good meeting. It was good to hear how everyone's using AI. Just compare different tools. Claude is still a bit sycophantic. It was just fun being in a big group of people. Very, very nerdy conversations going on. It was fun. How about you? How have you been?
Really good. Lots of different experiments going on. Curious to hear what was people's comments about Claude 4.5 that got released recently.
Okay, generally positive, but the people are getting a little bit tired of you're absolutely right answer to every question. But still, generally, It is the preferred model for most coding. Although there was an opinion that using, Gemini for larger scale planning, and then Claude for targeted edits, using a system like Zen MCP is a good way to do it.
Got it. Funny, I actually was just talking to somebody else, a group of people who are experimenting around the same thing. They had exactly the opposite. They were like, Gemini is really good for small targeted implementations. And if you're doing something more broad-based and particularly new development from scratch, Claude 4 or Claude 4.5 Sonnet are both going to be better choices. So I think it's still quite divided in terms of opinions.
Yeah, and it's divided, and people also just thinking about what are the best. There's still a lot of learning and exploration. How do you explore a code base was a big question.
Right.
Okay, they said keep it quiet, but apparently if you upload a zip file to ChatGPT, the agent that processes zip files doesn't keep track of tokens very well. And so you can really minimize your token budget by using zip files.
That is an interesting hack. We're definitely going to try this out and figure out whether that works or not. And I wonder if it's actually just looking at the size of the compressed file and not really uncompressing it at all.
Yeah, or maybe exactly. There's just some heuristics in there, and depending on how it uncompresses, it's not well known, but people are doing whatever they can to save on tokens. There was one person who said that they spent $5,000 on their personal Claude budget in 3 weeks, and then got an error message saying, please contact sales, and then got locked out for 2 weeks. And so I guess what's amazing is the demand is so high for all of these models. I guess we just saw the AMD and OpenAI partnership. That's exciting.
That's true. Absolutely. No, I mean, the demand is absolutely insane. I mean, try doing something real world with turning on, the max mode in Cursor and with any other models. Like the token usage is insanely high. And you just want to keep doing that over and over again throughout the day. So, I mean, I can quite imagine the need for these kind of relationships and deals happening, not just with one provider, but with multiple, because I think that this kind of demand we haven't seen ever before. And the last big revolution was cloud. I don't think the cloud had quite as much take or demand as we are seeing with AI.
Yeah, and you could get an EC2 instance when you wanted it. It's only very rarely would you try and make an instance and it would just fail. Whereas lots of people are getting rate limited and throttled, and it's hard to get someone on the phone. There's a lot of demand out there, but you can see with the workflows, right? I'm sometimes working on 5 or 6 different projects at once. Each project I'll set up a Mac OS desktop that'll have 4 different terminals open, and working on Git work trees, 4 work trees, 6 different projects, all of them going, and I'm just kind of nudging each one in the right direction. You can really burn through a lot of tokens that way. And then, of course, the orchestration frameworks like Zen, where what Zen will do is Zen will make a plan using Gemini, and then execute it using Claude, and then double check it using Gemini. Those can lead to exponential usage in tokens, because instead of asking
True.
your one question that you ask ends up making 10 other questions.
Very, very true.
What about you? What have you been working on
Yeah.
lately?
There's so much stuff going on in education and learning. That's been my primary focus. A couple of very new and interesting approaches to how to get kids to accelerate the number of facts that they not just ingest but also retain and have a conceptual understanding per unit time about. That's a pretty hard problem. And the current baselines are shockingly low. Did you like there's some paper I was reading where on an average there are about 3 to 4 facts per hour that you consume in a college lecture. In school, it's lesser because you want to kind of slow, like the ingestion rates are slower in school levels as kids are growing. You want them to have a more deeper conceptual understanding of some of these things. So the rate at which facts are actually learned and retained and reproduced effectively, that pace and rate is extraordinarily low today, and it can be accelerated by as much as 10x. But how to do it right is a very, very interesting area, and I think AI plays a very, very important role in helping understand, calibrate, and then execute a plan that can help you learn in the most efficient manner possible.
I think especially with, I guess what I can see AI is because kids, when they get bored, then they tune out.
Yes.
If they feel like they're learning, then great. But it's like, okay, I already know this, so I'm going to tune out, and then you lose them for a while.
Correct. And their attention spans are just so insanely small that you want to figure out how to maximize that small attention span you have. Like, I sometimes joke that my kids have the attention spans of a fly. Like, they can't sit in one place for more than 5 or 10 minutes. And even in there, they'll have some interruptions and something or the other going on. So, the younger they are, the harder it is. Like getting 30 minutes of focus time would be a miracle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny when you go up to the living room and I see this mess, and you think, okay, I see the thinking here. I see you were trying to play this game, and then you pivoted and left all that stuff over there.
Correct.
Let's tidy this back up. There's no garbage collector. Well, I'm the garbage collector.
Same story in every household. I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
so some very interesting stuff, which I don't think would be possible without AI to kind of cross some of those boundaries, because AI gets you scale, it gives you immediate personalization that you just cannot do manually or by any other algorithmic means. You got to have a much broader understanding of everything that's going on and then make decisions. So very, very interesting areas of work. Loving all the experiments that are going on.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, let's check out the news for the day. Let's see if I can put this on screen. And we're just going to do a live demo, see if we can get this working and give you some initial thoughts on this. This is the AWS API MCP server is now at release 1.0. So having a look at this, let's see, the AWS API uses natural language by creating and executing syntactically correct CLI commands.
Right. So everything that's available in the AWS CLI is now available for your LLM to execute on your behalf, or for it to call when it sees appropriate. And one of the biggest challenges is the AWS CLI is such a behemoth, I think encapsulating over 100,000 different kinds of APIs. The sheer number of parameters and objectives is a nightmare to navigate. And we've already been so used to using, all the different AI models to tell us what the right command for a scenario is going to be. Now you just let the LLM call it themselves.
I'm scrolling through these. Each one of these is its own family of commands, right?
Correct.
So we look at EC2. what is in EC2. Okay, here's all, and here's each of these commands, and then each of these commands have their own syntax, right? So create image, and then look at this.
Look at the number of parameters over there. Just the sheer number of parameters that have to be, handled, analyzed, and so on. And if you had to chain a bunch of these commands, kind of one after the other, get an input or get an output from one command and then pass that on to something else, it just becomes really difficult to do that.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at what it does. Customers using CloudWatch Agent can now collect logs from the MCP server. That's kind of cool. So you can look at something like, how did my Lambda function? What was the latest thing my Lambda function did? I'm working on debugging, and I want to know this. Let's see. Includes elicitation in supported MCP clients. What is this? So it will actually ask for input when it needs to.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so if you're asked to name something, or you need to set a password or something like that. Let's see. Correct. Experimental tool called Get Execution Plan to provide prescriptive flows for common AWS tasks. So this might be something like, well, maybe it's snapshotting and then archiving an EBS volume. Might be a prescriptive workflow.
Why don't we go ahead and get started with setting it up, and then let's see what it can do and how much of a natural language conversation we can make it to do something real.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's. Okay. Well, so here's the documentation. So we're going to do this live. Let's see. What it says is use the following configuration to add this to your MCP client config. So I'm going to put my terminal on screen. This could be famous last words, but we're just going to see.
Do we want to do this within Cursor, or do we want to just do it as part of Amazon Q?
I'm going to do it on just in a terminal. I'm going to use Claude Code and add this MCP server to Claude Code.
Okay.
So let's give this a try. Great. This is the Warp terminal. If I do Claude MCP list, this will tell me the existing MCP servers that I have. Okay, so I have Zen MCP server installed by default here. Let's give this a try and see if we can do Claude MCP add. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in this JSON, but the modification is that I also want, and I'm going to check the documentation. I want to make sure that I use the right AWS profile. I'm sure you have many different AWS accounts. And so it's in the documentation in GitHub. It gives you a big warning that you want to use the environment variable AWS API MCP profile name. So let's go ahead and set that value.
Are you using default?
I'm going to use this one.
So you have to go ahead and create a new profile for this? Or can't you just use the existing AWS profile?
No,
so
I have this is one of my named profiles.
Oh,
my config.
This is one of them. Got it. Okay.
Now, I think to get this syntax right, I want to do that. Now, the cool thing with Warp is that it will help me. It will fix this for me if I get it wrong. So let's see what happens. How do this? Oh, it's doing there we go. Okay, I think that's right syntax. So we're adding the AWS Labs MCP server, US East 1. We're adding the AWS API MCP profile name, and let's see what happens. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to
argument command or URL.
Missing argument command or URL.
Wait, command is there.
Oh, no. This is going to be called, I want this to be called AWS API MCP. Okay, so it seemed like it did that. So now if I type in Claude, let's see.
Try the Claude MCP list.
Oh, yeah, I should have. Yes. Okay, this is an empty folder. If I do /MCP, failed.
You got it.
Well, kind of worked. Let's see.
Press enter.
Okay.
Do you need to add that to the Claude.json?
I think it's already done it. Yeah. So what if I do reconnect? Okay. So, well, let's
Fail to reconnect.
try running the UVX command. So if I run UVX this and I set AWS region equals US East 1, and then the other one was AWS API MCP profile name equals CF2. Let's see if that works. Okay, so that seemed to work.
Yeah.
And start the MCP server. You know what? I wonder if the environment which launched this doesn't know the full path of UVX. So if I do Claude MCP remove, and this was AWS, let's get the remove AWS API MCP. Is that what I called it? Yeah, and then I want to add it again. But I want to have
don't want to give
the full path to UVX. Yeah. I think that's going to work. So that if I do Claude MCP list, failed to connect. That's weird. Let's see if Warp can fix it. Okay, well, so if I do Claude MCP list, it should show me a connected check mark to this. Okay, and so let's just start Claude Code.
Great.
And now just to verify, if I do MCP list, if I just do /MCP, okay, yeah. So now it's configured.
Connected.
Okay, so I can do tell me about the AWS MCP tools that you have available.
Why don't we ask it to help us set up a LAMP stack in AWS with WordPress installed? And let's see what it does.
Okay, so interesting. So this is neat. So it doesn't have a ton of tools. It has 2 tools, which is,
when you have this command and call AWS.
Yeah. So this is good. We've talked about this before. Certain MCP servers have 10, 20, 30 tools. And actually, I did a LinkedIn post the other day. I read a really neat article from Microsoft where they explored a big study of MCP servers. And they found that the largest MCP servers on Smithery had more than 200 tools and could return answers that were bigger than 500,000 tokens. So this is great MCP server design, having 2 tools. It makes it very easy for the agent to figure out what to do.
And it probably has Q running behind the scenes of the suggest AWS command.
Yeah. Yeah, it would make sense. Right? They've already invested in that. So let's give it a try. So let's say give me a set of commands that can set up.
Why don't we just tell it to go do the task and let's see what it does. Okay, so we should say, I want to create a WordPress website for very small usage.
WordPress.
Do we even need to say use AWS MCP? Let's see what it does.
Okay. We say create a website hosted on AWS.
Yeah.
Which is running a LAMP stack and WordPress. Okay.
Yeah, the website is about Formula One. There we go. I'm really curious how it goes through all the various options.
Okay, so we're looking at the thinking. Okay, so this is making some very AWS specific choices, T2.micro. What do we have here? So this is, okay, tool use, AWS API MCP, execute the AWS CLI command. The first one is creating a security group.
Correct.
That's kind of cool. And then you can see this is the prompting within the tool. So command must
do
start with,
IAM, which has been one of our biggest asks, right?
yeah. It has some, this is actually pretty cool, like seeing how to prompt tools.
Yeah.
Command restrictions, don't use pipes, don't use tools, don't use shell redirection. And the way I've seen this happen is sometimes you'll see the agents trying to restrict tools, and right away the agent will get around it. Oh, I can't I can't touch a file. I'll just cat to it. Okay, so let's do this. Let's say yes, and I'm not saying yes and auto approve because I want to see the other ones.
Right.
Okay, let's open up the thinking modes. This is VPC not specified. No VPC, no default VPC for this user. I wonder how much permissions I have on this account. I might have to relaunch this with another account. But let's have a look at describe VPCs.
But it's just setting up everything on an EC2 instance. It's cool. It's
okay. It's asking to describe the subnets. I wonder if this account doesn't have enough permissions. Let's see.
And you don't have any existing.
I can give it another account. Let's see.
Wait, it already figured out a VPC.
Okay, so now it's saying it's creating a security group. Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
and it picked the VPC that's there, the default VPC. That's fine. Error was null, so it went on. Now it's creating.
This is cool.
Ingress rules.
Yeah. Okay. So you can browse it 0 over port 80 and 443. So HTTP and HTTPS.
Correct.
That's cool. All right. And it's going by its checklist. So this is what's helping it, so it doesn't have to be in one giant context window. It can.
Correct.
Okay. EC2 create key pair, key name F1 WordPress key. This is extremely helpful because it's doing things with sane defaults.
And does it save the key locally with the right permissions? Or it generated a new key, right?
Well, so see that generate SSH key pair for instance access is on its checklist.
But did we just see the command for it?
Okay, there we go. Okay, don't write this down, everybody. Well, we'll kill the site. That's my RSA private key. And yes, it's going to save that. Let's go for it. And give it 400 permissions. Okay.
Yep, that was the important one.
This is wild.
I mean, I can totally imagine letting Cloud Code go investigate an issue in AWS.
Okay, so this is interesting. Let's have a look at this. So we're back to good old scripting. So this is a user data script.
Yep.
So it hasn't started the instance yet. And so the user data script is what the instance is going to do when it starts.
Correct.
So DNF is this must be Amazon.
Is like an apt-get. Yeah,
okay.
It's the equivalent of your apt or yum.
Instance. Yeah, okay, because this isn't Debian base. This is Fedora base. Okay. Secure MariaDB. Okay, so it's doing everything on EC2, right? We're not it's doing it a very simple way, right? It could have started an RDS instance for us.
Or it could have just done a Lightsail instance.
Yeah.
But I don't think Lightsail is available on the AWS CLI.
Now, this is interesting. It's getting the latest WordPress. So this is a bit, we're not pinning versions, so it's a little bit risky here, but that's probably okay. WordPress is pretty stable at this point. It's going to install Apache, restart it. create a simple landing page. Wow. Okay.
Let's go ahead and do it. T2 micro. That's neat. Yeah, this should be fine. It's looking for all the images, picking up the. Oh, it picked the x86 by default.
Yep, this should have been Graviton.
It should have been Graviton.
Okay, but what is it doing? Okay, it's going to run the instance.
Once it finishes this, let's run the experiment of changing it from an AMD instance to a Graviton instance and see what it does.
Allocate address domain. Is this getting me a elastic IP address?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Yep, there it is. Create and allocate an elastic IP to the instance. And then it's going to associate the IP to the instance. That makes sense. We want to make sure we can actually get this without using the long auto-generated host name. So that's great. Let's do that. I'm sure Corey is going to try something like run the most expensive command you can think of.
What I actually want to run is to say, switch over this website from a T2, from an x86 instance to a Graviton instance, to the cheapest Graviton instance you can find, and make sure that there's no downtime. Let's see what it does.
This is amazing that my token monitor is only at, okay.
Let's go to it.
Copy this. Let's see, copy URL. I'm going to, okay.
Can you change sharing?
Yes. And I almost didn't believe it. But check that out.
That is pretty neat. Okay. Let's do this. Let's run the second command to see if it can actually do a migration. Can the combination of Cloud Code and the AWS API get us there with minimal human intervention?
Well, let's give this a try. I'm going to find my window here.
Let's get back to Warp.
Yeah. Yes.
And say, migrate this to the cheapest Graviton instance.
Okay.
Or the most effective Graviton instance, cost-wise.
Migrate this to the most cost-effective Graviton instance.
Without any downtime. Okay, let's see what it does. Actually, this makes complete sense. So it's setting up
over the plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so find an AMI. It's going to be t4g.micro. So that's a modern Graviton, smallest one. It's going to wait for it to be on.
Right.
Switch over the elastic IP. So that's going to be instantaneous.
Correct.
And then terminate the old one.
Yeah. That's all the right steps.
Okay.
Let's see if we can execute it.
I'm going to say yes and don't ask again.
Okay. You've got to trust the system.
I mean, this can kill an EC2 instance. There's some trust here.
Yeah.
So
note, whenever you create an AWS profile, make sure it has just the required set of permissions for whatever you want the AI to do in there. Don't grant it more permissions than needed. Now this should take about 20 seconds, I think, for 20 to 30 seconds for the instance to be running. Though I think it takes about 35, 40 seconds for all the installation to happen.
Yeah, it still has to run that user data script.
Correct.
This is funny. He just did a 2-minute sleep. So it could have done something more clever, I suppose. Like,
yeah, it could have
sleep
probably
and
taken a
pull.
snapshot and created a new instance out of that with a new instance type.
Or I just mean to detect when this is running, right? It probably could have alternated between sleep and
Right.
and checked it. But I guess a 2-minute sleep is
Simpler.
it's simple.
Yeah. No, but I think in the overall approach, launching a brand new instance with the user data, I wonder if that's more effective than just taking a snapshot of the old one.
Well, I guess
Really
there may be
putting
some Graviton specific code in there, or ARM specific libraries or something.
Oh yeah, actually that's true. We were pulling down the user data had some very x86 specific things in there. Some of the libraries are x86 specific, I think. And those would need to be modified, I think. Like installing those MySQL DB, you probably are pulling down the installer for a particular architecture.
This is interesting. So I opened up the thinking mode and it's saying, okay, the instance was running, but it's going to wait. This 2-minute wait is for the user data script to install.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not doing anything more complicated than that.
I wonder how it's going to check that everything is actually installed and running.
I'm checking.
Should probably have had a countdown timer.
I'm checking in another window, and I think I should be able to. Yeah, we have.
There we go.
I can see it in describe instances that it's there.
Command timed out after 2 minutes. What's it going to do? Going to wait a bit longer. Oh, it is switching over. But I thought it failed. Didn't
No,
it?
I think it just the timeout. I think that was just the sleep.
Got it.
Okay, so
Can you imagine how much of a boon this would be for migrations?
And because you don't have to put it in this automatic mode, you can still verify every command and make sure it's
Correct.
the right thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is the same URL. Okay, let's have a look. What I'm going to do, let's see, add a picture of a car. Let me find a publicly available one. Formula One car. I'll grab one from Wikipedia. Copy image address, add a picture of a car using this URL to the landing page. Okay. Now, while it's doing that, I'm going to switch the visible window.
And is the site up, by the way?
Yes. So I'm going to head over there. Present. Okay, so it's here. Let's hit refresh. I'm waiting for that Formula One picture to be displayed. Oh, interesting. It's actually downloading the image and no, it's scripting the edit via SSH.
Oh, locally on that machine?
Yeah. Oh, wait. So there it is. Check that out.
Nice.
And then let's see if the WordPress, did that actually work? If we go to WP admin. Yeah, that's our WordPress setup. Continue. Let's see. Formula One made easy. Okay, so we've got a WordPress site. this was
Yeah.
pretty neat. I think
Relatively painless, simplifies a lot of stuff. I can imagine this being an absolute boon for anyone that is looking to migrate their stuff. Plot code with the AWS API CLI, sorry, MCP, and their code base. Oh, that'd be. It actually had that. It had a comment above that said the 20% cheaper. There we go.
there is cost savings.
It's 20% cheaper than the T2 Micro.
And a remark: this is better than Graviton 2. T4G is Graviton 3.
Correct.
Okay, look at this. So, how much does this server cost to run? It said, okay, it's broken down. So $6 a month compute. We've got this is a good remark. Free while associated with running instance. Is this true or is this old?
This is old.
I thought because Elastic IPs cost.
They're charging for everything now.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one mark against them. We're paying $1 a month.
But this again might be Cloud Code producing this, not their API.
Oh, let's see.
It's not calling the AWS MCP.
You're right. This is Claude's.
This is Claude.
Because it didn't call a tool.
Correct.
Okay.
Can you call the calculator? I guess it doesn't have that information right now.
Cost related AWS. This pricing. So hopefully this will trigger the
MCP CLI.
MCP, yeah.
There's the pricing API. Error while validating the command.
Okay, we'll have to let this figure itself out. I'm so glad to not be debugging these JSON filters by hand ever again.
Very true.
Especially with double escape, double backslashes.
Access denied.
Oh, so this is my user.
Because cost and usage. Interesting.
Well, that is okay. Overall, I am pretty.
There we go. Elastic IP.
Okay, so what did it say? I called several AWS APIs to verify your resources. T4G.micro.
Yeah, that's the T4G.micro. That's fine. Let's go down. EBS volume, Elastic IP. Elastic IP
is a Graviton 2. T4G.micro is a Graviton 2, not a Graviton 3. So we were.
Got it.
Okay, I mean, this is. So I have to.
But the Elastic IP was the one that we.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
But I think you're right. This is a Claude issue.
Yeah.
And not a. And if I had gotten. If I and this user had enabled the Cost Explorer access, that would have been better. Correct. Okay, well, wrapping this one up, I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty.
I am.
This is good.
Super kicked about it. I think there's a lot more stuff that you can now do with. I think if there was one thing that truly personifies AWS made easy, it would be this capability. Like just being able to say, just use it. I've got everything set up. I don't know what's to be done, not the 35 things to get started. This by far is the simplest way to get started with AWS.
Well, in that case, how are we going to rank this one?
And I think for the first, I'll give this an absolute 5 stars, 5 clouds, and it simplifies.
5 clouds simplifies. That is as good as it gets here.
Correct.
That's really, really cool. 5 clouds and a simplified. So congrats to the AWS API MCP server team. This was a really neat release. For those of you in the audience, give this a try. You saw how relatively straightforward it was to set up. You do whatever you need to do to add this in. Make sure you've got the AWS MCP profile name environment variable set and your region set, just kind of standard configuration, and go for it. That's cool. Make sure your IAM user doesn't have too many permissions, because I'm sure someone's going to figure out what's the most expensive thing you could possibly do with this before it warns you, right? If you try to buy a 3-year reservation of one of those SAP HANA instances,
X132XLs.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't just let you go ahead and do that without at least prompting you first. This is really cool. 5 clouds, simplifies. This is great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this, going forward, I think this is the way I want to do every demo in the AWS Made Easy show. I don't think there's a simpler way of executing these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great showcase of how to design an MCP server properly.
Yes.
Where you have 2 tools, very good prompts, and not 50 tools and let the model decide, because that's
exactly
difficult still. And just because it's in your head of how to do it doesn't mean the model's going to figure it out the exact same way every time.
And I think there's another reason why this is an absolutely awesome way to do it. AWS has over 300,000 APIs, I think. And
makes
they
sense.
condense all of that down to two tools.
Yeah, if they had dumped every function and every API call into the context, it'll get it wrong 99% of the time.
Yeah, maybe even more. So, yeah, I think this is the best way to do it. There's just been so much learning out of this one exercise. I'm very impressed with the way the team has gone about it, designed this MCP server, put it out there for all different users. Yeah, this is at the heart of AWS Made Easy. So super delighted about this.
Awesome. All right, well, that concludes our episode for today. Check out the AWS API MCP Server 1.0. Thanks again for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Some tools just find AWS cost savings and make you do all the work. Visualizing cost opportunities is great, but that's not enough. CloudFix, on the other hand, actually delivers those savings for you. And you don't need to worry, because CloudFix uses AWS recommended savings techniques. It fixes, not just finds. It's the easiest way to save money on AWS. It's 100% automatic and risk-free. And the best part of all, it works non-stop. Stop overspending on AWS and click on the link to start saving now.